Hello, everybody. Whoa, I'm a little low there. Here we go. Head tight.
What's up?
What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Welcome to PS Comics. I love you, the official pop culture podcast of anyone who will fucking listen.
Mm.
Uh, and while you're out there probably slaving away over a hot stove, prepping for all the fixins manana, figure we guys will bring a little entertainment to you because we know most of you are probably going to be dealing with a lot of crazy family tomorrow, and well, here's to you. My son trying to sneak into the studio, and I had to shush him away. I don't know what he's thinking. He knows I walked in here. The door is closed. Don't walk in. Anyways, so yeah,
It is.
it is Thanksgiving Eve. I am now joining the JR Club where I now have a broken chair, I think. So send the funds here. You can go to the link somewhere on one of our social media pages to donate some money, or if you want to have something you see on Black Friday, send it our
Yeah.
way. Buy
Mm-hmm.
two. Without further ado, he is
Yeah.
the DK, Dark King. I'm sorry. He is Jared Kamakungan, also not Jared Comics 42 on Instagram.
How you doing?
And what's going on, dude? Sell anything lately?
Yeah, I did sell a couple stuff, man, but it's all going to other funds, bro. It's been like it's fun. Well, everybody knows this whole deal. Like when you feel like you got a little bit of money for yourself, and then just stuff comes up, and then
Oh, I
lands
know the
along.
feeling.
Yeah,
Oh,
man. It's like it's. I always constantly see myself dip into like just like, oh, I got money now. I got a little money to go into my chair. I got a little money going to like a PC I want to get, or or this or that, right? Oh no, something comes up. Oh, you need tires for your car? Yeah. Oh, stuff happened in the house. Cool. Oh, that your parents' electric bill from the summers ago was a little bit too high. They need some help. Yeah, absolutely. Just stuff like that, man. And so it's it it's it's been a weird, not weird, but it's been a couple of months where like it just feels like I have money, but it's not going to myself, it's going to like my responsibilities, and that's fine. But like dang man, I'm like, I'm what? I'm nearly like half a year in with this broken ass chair. So running around and like, yeah, I can probably get like a regular metal chair, man, but like it's one of those things where like, it's whatever, bro. I'll just wait for it. I'm just comfy now because like I'm comfy in this chair, even if it's broken. It's better for my back, honestly. It was weird enough, but yeah. But
well,
it's something like that.
yeah. And so send it our way. You know, I wanted a gamer chair, so you can see it's got the gamer red,
Yep.
whatever. But I cheaped out and bought I didn't realize that nowadays $100 is a cheap chair.
Yeah, man.
Um, so my wife has told me that she will be picking out the next chair, and it will be a reputable office chair. So
Yeah.
for those who don't know or care, I'm Kevin Pillow at Voice of Reason 23 on all social media platforms, and no, I will not be joining Hive. Um, I am sticking with the dumpster fire that is Twitter. Whether I don't care what side of the aisle you're on,
Yeah.
Twitter has been and always will be an absolute freaking dumpster fire. I go there when I need to feel better about myself.
Hmm.
I go to Twitter because
Yeah.
that's where I realize, wow, I don't have it that bad. There are people out there that will literally bitch about anything,
Yeah.
including the CEO of the company.
It's hilarious. I saw this one meme on Twitter one time, bro, where it's like I forgot the guy tweeted like, man, y'all mofos will like complain and argue about anything, right?
Yeah.
Some dude could be saying, man, I like cereal, and someone else would be saying, what, you don't like waffles? I'm like,
No,
what?
that is exactly what it is. I've literally seen that conversation on Twitter. Someone
Yeah.
posted online, hey, and this is the day and age that we live in. We're going to go a little sidebar here. This is the day and age we live in. First off, I never in a million years thought I would be the type of person that would post food online. That
Mhm.
shit annoyed the crap out of me when I go to restaurants and
Yeah.
people would see their and they're taking their little. I'm going to use this for example because my phone's charging. And they're taking their pictures. Selfie. Oh, look at that hashtag corned beef hash, whatever, hashtag, whatever. And I'm going, I remember I was literally in Ruth Chris, which is not the flex or anything, but flex. But for those of you who are listening to the audio format, I am sleeveless. JR is in a sweatshirt hoodie, looking like the what's the guy's name that's in New England? He is the Filipino Bill Belichick right now.
Yeah.
He's got the hoodie on. No, I remember I was out to dinner with my wife, and we're at this this fancy steakhouse, and literally there's these two daughters, and it must have been their dad, were taking pictures of their dinner. Now, do I run a social media site at BBQ of Reason 23 on Instagram? Yes, where I take pictures of food, but that is different. I'm telling a story, whereas these people are just like, I'm at Ruth Chris, check out my ribeye, where I'm taking pictures of my ribeye to tell you how to cook a ribeye. They're just trying to whatever. Like I said, I never thought I'd be in that day and age, but I have done that. And I remember the first time I ever took a photo of food was at a football game, and they made bacon, macaroni, and cheese. And I was just like, yes, this deserves to be on Instagram, because this is bacon and mac and cheese, and it's delicious, and it was delicious. But nonetheless, that's my. Like I said, I've seen those social media.
It's
fights.
It's weird because like we come to. I've noticed about myself where like we've come to an age when we're older, right?
Yep.
We've come to an age where like it's like, damn, man, it's gonna sound super like. It's gonna sound super fucking aggressive and confrontational, man. But like sometimes, man, like bro, sometimes y'all young kids, man, y'all opinions don't really matter, bro. Like, because like in the context of like whatever, like you don't know what you're getting into yet. Your opinion is batted out by somebody else, bro. It's like you don't know the world or anything like that. And so like I see a lot of these sentiments online. I'm like, man, it's like y'all know what's going on to the other person's life. Y'all know what's going through that stuff. Like what people put out and what people say are just a snapshot of what is in their life at the moment. And a lot of these kids growing up in this social media age, their snapshot is basically all just social media.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it's just this weird echo chamber of just people. And the same thing goes with fucking people on the right, people on the left, whatever you want to say, whatever fucking political affiliation you want, man. It's just people just like they want to go into their tribes, they want to go into their echo chambers and just like, jerk off and say, yeah, we're the right people. And then, they go fucking, jerk off in front of the people that they think they're thick right over and just like have this jerk off contest to see who's better. That's like y'all just jerking off to hate porn right now. And it's like, just grow the fuck up and just chill out, bro. It's social media has got people wrapped up in this mindset of like, yo, this is how people act nowadays. This is how people think nowadays. Like, it's like majority of us are like working, trying to have jobs, trying to like save money for our kids to grow up in a world that's probably going to be maybe a little bit shittier in the next 20 years because of like all the stuff's going on. And I understand like that's a good side of social media, that they're shitting like on that stuff. But it's like, yo, man, it's like y'all just way too fixated on tribalism at the moment. Y'all fixated too much on like what is right, what is that my right is the right one and your right is wrong, basically type of shit, man. It's like I harken back to fucking what I think I forgot which Greek philosopher said this. I think it was either oh my god, who was it? Socrates, where I think he said something like he doesn't believe in democracy because of the obvious idea of if two stupid people can vote have a more valid opinion of vote than my smart person type of like vote, we know it's already a wrong thing. It's like I kind of harken back to thinking of like, man, if two quote unquote dumb people, right, or two people who are so enamored in their view of thinking of one thing, so very very rigid and not really caring about sharing other people's opinions about how like they're just so focused on their one thing and they think that's right. Two of those people can like really just outweigh my opinion. And it's like, that's all it is, bro. Social media is a fucking echo chamber and people either recognize it and they engage in it or they don't recognize it. And both is bad. It's just like, I try not to go on Twitter, dude. Twitter, like,
yeah, I don't either.
I mean, the memes are funny as hell. Don't get me wrong. I look at my D&D stuff. I look up stuff for video gaming, man. But like all that extra shit, bro. It's like, yo, Y'all doing way too much, way too little. There's some great things that go on about it too, though. I will say that the FIFA, the FIFA controversies and all that shit has been happening. There's still systemic, like, quote unquote, like indentured servitude, slavery, basically in the world, and that definitely need to be shown light on. But like, yo, y'all just going way too extra, bro. It's like, but yeah. I digress. This is a pop culture podcast at the moment, man. But like that
Absolutely,
stuff
but
is just way too much, man.
it and Twitter is still a necessary evil. We use it, we promote on it.
Yeah.
I I've said for years that it was a dumpster fire. When it was created, I didn't get it. And I thought that I remember I took a class, really to just to digress just for a moment longer. I took a class, and I harken back to this quite a bit, actually. I took a writing class in college at Miracosta College in San Diego, and the teacher, the instructor, the professor took us into the computer lab, and we're like, okay, what are we going to do? And it was an exercise, and she never got to make her point, but she made her point without even starting the class. And I'll explain. She wanted to teach us how to write properly, proper English, proper grammar. And she took us into the computer lab, and we're thinking, in our opinion, we thought we were going to sit there in front of a word processor and learn how to type out a paper, a research paper, or whatever. Learn how to type a paper. She had us open up this chat window that was it was almost like for those of you, back in my day, with AOL Instant Messenger, we basically opened up like a chat room, and we all made our own. And she had already created usernames, and the usernames were our names. It was Kevin.Pillow or Kevin Pillow, whatever it was. It would have been JR Kambakungan. And we opened up the chat, and then it was just basically word vomit. It was a chat room, and she lost complete control of the class within seconds of this chat room opening up. And if there was a screenshot of the chat room, myself included, literally none of the postings, none of the messages in this chat room were proper grammar, proper English, nothing. Yeah. And so she looked at she's just sitting there, she's just watching. You could see her, she's getting agitated, aggravated. And she just went, closed the computer or whatever. It wasn't a laptop. It was just, I'm just simulating that she turned off the computer. She's like, all right, let's get back up. Let's go back to the regular classroom. And so, though that was not the point she wanted to make, she inadvertently made the point without making the point. And that was, as a society, we had already gone downhill with our writing skills, that we had already gone to this acronym, almost kind of slang, abbreviated language that we've seen nosedive over the last 25 years. And when I remember when I started Twitter, I started as a business when I created KRP Broadcasting, which is the company that produces this fine program. Yep. When I created it in 2007 rather, I opened up a Twitter account and I was promoting it, and I was like, wait a minute, I ran out of characters. What are you talking about? I'm not even done yet. And I asked a friend of mine, I said, how do you do this Twitter thing? And he's like, this ain't Facebook, bro. And was like, you have to get your point across in 160 characters or whatever it was back then. And I'm like, you can't. Yeah. He's like, you got to abbreviate or use the @ symbols and stuff. So I got pretty good at using like tagging accounts, and that, of course, obviously will condense your post. But yeah, I get so aggravated. I read stuff and I just go, dude, English language is so bad.
There's a lot of.
That's why I wish I could write in Chinese, because they have symbols for stuff, and it makes. I love seeing Asian social media posts. I have
calligraphy. Yeah,
I could do a quick translate and I can see what they say, but it's so contrite, and yet when you do translate it, holy cow! Like it translates like to 300 characters, but they printed it in 60.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wish I could write like that.
No, it's basically the English language of that. The English language is probably one of the more recent languages of the known world, in comparison to like Spanish, in comparison to Slavic in comparison to other forms of like European, like in comparison to freaking Mandarin and even definitely even fucking Japanese. And so it's English specifically has been a relatively like newer language. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's a relatively newer language compared to like the older quote unquote civilizations of the world. But yeah, just it's one of those things where it's like I can't say we've regressed, just more so I feel like we've taken way too many shortcuts, right?
Yeah.
In the terms of like our literary languages, as well as people thinking, oh, we're evolving. I'm like, bro, you're not. It's hard to say evolving, especially in the sense of like when we have a generation now that thinks that this language to use is okay in real life scenario, right? I've
Yeah.
seen many freaking like I've seen those memes too of like, freaking, 18, 19, 20-year olds, they put out their resumes, right? And like their references was like, online like online literature or online like memes stuff like, oh, I'm amazeballs or some shit like that. I'm like, like how can anyone
Well,
take you seriously? You
exactly.
know? It's like it's one thing if it's one thing if you put this if you're going to have these type of like comments, right? And be on a tech company or be at some type of like information hub where it's online related. But if you're trying to work on like if you're trying to work some regular freaking storefront type of job like at the I don't know the H&M, let's say a fast food chain, you're gonna try to put memes, bro. You're gonna try to put stuff like L in the chat or W or just like these like that's all that stuff. It's like there's a weird disparity in a sense where it's like I do feel like we're going to inevitably fall into this whole thing of like the cyber reality of like of like the cyberpunk era, not cyberpunk, but like the cyber futuristic era of
Yeah.
like more people are gonna do stuff online or probably at home. But like, man, it's just are we at that point now as a culture where we're nearing that stuff? Granted, like we've seen some posts about the metaverse and we've seen some posts about like already like VR and all that stuff, and like we are kind of maybe in that middle area of like we're not really there but we're like looks like we're gonna be the jumping off point. Are
Yeah.
we, you and me, them old dudes that say, man, that's freaking weird, that's freaking whack, bro? Or are we like just looking at really as just like a third person perspective, like, yo man, y'all really just cringe with this stuff, like really? Like, is it just kids not really, acting or still trying to act like kids? Granted, like, yeah, you could say there's the argument saying that we are kids too, still like trying to rep like comic books and video games and all that stuff. I get that, but like when I don't know if it's a societal thing or something else, but when language, right, really dictates like your level can really be understood as your level of coherency of a conversation. I'm not talking about like proper literature, proper language. I'm like, but if you say amazeballs or W in the chat or like any type of like Twitch or Twitter lingo in actual conversations, I look at you different. Not different like horrible, but I look at you I look at you like, man, like you really a child of your era type of stuff, man. So that was just me. Twitter again is just weird, bro.
It is.
Twitter, social media. It's like the Twitter is like for the new young kids growing up with nothing but like they grew up with like laptops and tablets, while Facebook is for the the old dudes, the old people, where it's like they put out all their personals and like it's I don't know. It's a weird time we're in where internet just really is really taking this whole the personal life thing and really just blew everything up. And so oh
And I know that I walk around, I'll go like hashtag, whatever, and I'm like, we're. It's not that we're trying to adopt it. We're making fun of you.
yeah.
Kind of. Well, that we're being ironic.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I do catch myself doing that sometimes. I do take a picture of my tomahawk steak and send it to some friends like, oh, this tomahawk steak is
I've
sick.
sent you food. I know I've sent you
Yeah,
food.
I've done that. I also take pictures of my comics. Y'all see me do that, but like it's just I don't know. Maybe we just got to that point where like again we're just like, dang man, that's that young person game, bro. I'm not into that.
Mhm.
I'm not into that. Like all this new lingo and stuff, all this like all these new words and like what was it like? Was it? It's weird to me when someone says vibe, right? But like I've been using vibing for like since forever, and like I had a quote unquote younger individual or someone like in their 18, 19s, right? Say like, hey, man, like just say vibe, bro. I'm like, bro, I've been vibing forever. Vibing, like that's a word that's came before you, bro. And so it's just one of those things. Like, dang, man. Like, how did for me in retrospect, I feel like, man, my older, how did my uncles or how did my aunts, feel like when I said "What's up," back in the '90s,
Oh,
no, the 2000s,
jeez.
"What's up? What
Wow.
up, bro?" It's just stuff like that stuff, like the lingo of the night, like the early 2000s and late '90s, bro. Like, how do they feel the same way? So I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
Airs.
Real quick. Oh, I'm not to segue. Kind of a rough segue. If you got more comments about social media, post it in the comment section below. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, or on uh, um,
Twitter,
Twitch, put it in the comment section.
Twitch.
If you're listening or watching to us on Twitter, add us at PS Comics. I love you. Hashtag PS Comics. I love you. Or whatever hashtag you see up on the screen, and we'll read your comments on air. It goes right here to our studio. Not to segue into anything negative, but it is one of the top stories in the pop culture world this past week. We did lose another person in the pop culture world. Make sure I get it right. Jason David
Frank.
Jason David Frank. Okay.
JDF.
JDF.
Yeah.
AKA the White Ranger, or sorry, AKA the Green Ranger, AKA the White Ranger, AKA Tommy
Red
Oliver from
Yep.
the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers,
Yep.
passed away at the age of 49. What some are saying is an apparent suicide.
Yeah.
Though his family has not officially come out and said they're asking for people to respect their privacy right now. We do know that Jason has had his ups and downs over the last decade or so, but it really seemed like he had cleaned up his act. I know that he had some drug issues and really had some mental health issues where he almost kind of took himself too seriously, I guess. And like that, I know that some people around him at Comic Cons have said that he really thought he was Jason Oliver. Like, they didn't know where I'm sorry, Tommy Oliver. They didn't know where Jason Frank and Tommy Oliver ended. But he looked like he really kind of got himself straight. There was talk that he was going to be a part of the anniversary show that's going to be filming, I think, in Australia in the coming months for I think it's the 30th anniversary of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Go ahead and make yourself feel old. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, I don't believe he got to film those scenes. No. But
yeah, it sucks, man. That was definitely a big staple of my childhood growing up, man.
Absolutely.
Tommy was. I can understand why he feels like that he doesn't know where Tommy, where Jason ended and Tommy began, type of stuff. Because like when you play a character, when you're in a character for 30 plus years, man, it does feel like, man, I'm him. I'm that guy. I'm like, people know me as this person. It's like you see it a lot in other actors too, where like they don't know where.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger, freaking Marlon Brando at certain days too. So like there's a lot of like their own versions of method acting type stuff, right? And like granted, he wasn't a super serious method actor. When you're known as the Green Ranger for the entirety of your life, basically, you're Tommy.
Yeah, and his life and Tommy Oliver's life mirrored each other. Obviously, they were both martial artists.
Yep.
They were, for lack of a better term, they were both sex symbols. Tommy Oliver was the good-looking rebel guy in the show, whereas Jason Frank was very much loved by the females and some men. And not to say that he was gay, I'm just saying that guys liked him.
It's sad because like I remember, I remember that he after that he took that little bit break of him being away from Green Ranger and trying to get his life back on track. He went to MMA. He started his own. Right. I remember he started his own Christian.
I think he had his own dojo for karate.
He had his own dojo. He had his own like Christian clothing label where I specifically, when I was still part of a church, I specifically remember this, where he had Jesus on the cross, but Jesus was all buffed up and Jesus broke the cross, and it's on the bottom said Jesus doesn't tap. It said Jesus never tapped. I'm like, that's a sick freaking t-shirt, man. I saw that. I'm like, oh dude, that's pretty cool. And so just I remember seeing that part of him and him just slowly going back to Green Ranger, all tatted up, everything. And like I heard stories and I've heard and of course these are comments off the record comics about him where it's just like he just got through a rough life, man, when he was going through a divorce possibly, and that his stepdaughter committed as well. She committed unlife. I think that's a new term that people are saying nowadays, so it doesn't trigger tendencies. And so she committed unlife about a year or so prior to this, and so that because I think it felt
I
like
did
he was,
that. I
yeah,
remember.
he felt like more of the father to her stepdaughter, and so it was
Yeah, because
like,
I think he has 4 kids of his
mm,
own.
yeah,
I
I
did
think
not
so
know he
too.
was going through a divorce though.
Yeah,
But
and so it's just like it sucks. It's this huge disparity of like still not disparity, but like this, it's still very much this huge issue of like for men specifically in America, and like we see this now that suicide is one of the rates of which men pass away now in America. That's one of the bigger contributors to death mortality
yeah,
rates in the U.S. for men, and so yeah, it sucks. It's horrible, man. I hate saying this line, man, but it feels like every time I get older, man, I see all my heroes passed away, one way or another, man.
yeah,
Just the sad reality of life is, man. And I absolutely enjoyed everything that guy is, all the joy he's brought to my life. I loved Tommy Oliver. I loved Green Ranger. I loved it when he was the Red Ranger in Power Rangers Neo. I loved it when he come back for all the specials before. He was Tommy Oliver for all of that. He was the stalwart, the true stalwart, the true like good guy. Even when like even when the comic books, right? Even when the Power Ranger comic books and they showed that there was a different Tommy Oliver, there was an evil Tommy Oliver which destroyed majority of like I forgot what it's called. I forgot what that evil Tommy Oliver was. That was during the Power Rangers Grid, I think, the Grid era, where this Tommy Oliver was the evil Green Ranger, and like he was basically, I can't say Thanos because Thanos is too small of the character that Tommy was, this evil Tommy was. But yeah, he was crazy. He was super crazy in the comic books, and I was hoping to see that Tommy Oliver at least somewhat make a mention towards like the live action stuff, man. But the end of it now, just hearing what's happening with him, I hope they really do his memory justice and honor him appropriately
yeah.
forever, because you talk about a guy who quite literally carried the franchise for a couple years, bro. Like
He's really kind of kept it.
yeah, they lean on him for a lot. Like Bandai Namco
Yeah,
specifically for Power Rangers in America, right? Then there's Sentai and all that stuff in Japan, but like for America, for Western audiences, Tommy Oliver was the Green Ranger, like more so than Jason, who was the original Red Ranger, more so than the other characters too. And so it was Tommy for the longest time. It was Tommy. So yeah,
So yeah, like I said, there's the anniversary special. I don't know when it's going to air. I know that it's going to be along the lines of the fan video that they made. Actually, I don't know if it was a fan video. Um, I think it was part of it. The existing Power Rangers storyline, or I don't know whether there was a video that was made on, and it showed up online about 4 or 5 years ago, and I think it was a part of, not, is it Power Grid? No, what was the storyline with the multiple,
yeah, that
um
was it. Power Grid.
and it had like literally every incarnation of the Power Rangers show up, including the Mighty Morphin. Now the Rangers, showed up, but the actors didn't. It was people dressed up
Yeah,
as the original 5 Mighty Morphin. Now I do know that we I didn't know this. I'd forgotten that we actually don't have Trini, the actress who played Trini.
yeah.
She passed away like 20 years
Oh
ago in a car crash
yeah,
in
yeah,
LA. Got hit by, I think, by a drunk driver or something like that.
yeah,
Her and her cousin or something. Um, but yeah, really unfortunate. And it just seems like a lot of the Rangers have fallen on hard times. Obviously, Tommy has since passed on. Trini's passed on. The Blue Ranger, the actor who played the Blue Ranger, um, was kind of ostracized from the show because I believe if I'm not mistaken, the actor was a closet homosexual during the filming of the show and wasn't really accepted. So there were some issues with that. I know that the guy who plays the Black Ranger, he's had some ups and downs, but he actually kind of been making the con circuit. I actually kind of,
yeah,
I always forget his name. I forget
yeah.
all their names. I mean, the only ones I knew was Tommy and
Mm.
and I can't even think of who the Pink Ranger was now.
Oh,
Save my
oh,
life.
yeah, yeah.
Kimberly? No.
Kimberly. It was
It was
Kimberly.
Kimberly. Okay,
Yeah.
but I just knew them as their colors, and so I remember one time I tell this story. So I'm walking through Comic Con. I think this was in 2019. I'm walking through Comic Con. I'm walking by the Boom Studios booth, and of course, Boom Studios does the Power Rangers comic book. And I walked by because I just bought some stuff, so I kind of looped around, and there was a exclusives side of the Boom Studios booth. So I walk around from buying my stuff, and I come by and I'm like, and I go, oh shoot, it's the Black Ranger, and the guy, and I hear someone go, really, really, you're just gonna go the Black Ranger, you racist asshole? And I'm like, really? Tell me the character's name. Tell me right now. Tell me the Black Ranger's character's name. Tell me the actor's name. And I'm saying this right in front of the guy. And the actor who plays the Black Ranger goes, white dude ain't wrong. I don't even know my character's name. I'm the Black Ranger. Literally, it had the actor's name. I can't remember. I apologize. I actually really dug that character.
Yeah.
But it had the actor's name, and it said underneath Black Ranger. Didn't have the character's name, just said the Black Power Ranger. So I'm like, the state rests your honor. Come on. It is what it is. But and even the guy who played was it Jason the Red Ranger? Is that what his name is?
Yeah.
He's had some issues. I think he had tax evasion issues, so he was actually able to.
There was a bunch of things. I granted I don't want to go into all the they call it tea now, but like all the rumor mill type of shit, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember a couple years ago they said they not funny, but like they thought he was doing he was in gay pornography, and they thought he was.
Oh yeah, I did hear that one.
That. And like, no, that's not him, man. He's like, he had to come out like, no, that's not me, bro. I'm doing okay. No, I'm not in that. Nothing wrong with it, but I'm not in it. That's not me. That's someone that looks a lot. That looks someone that like kind of looks like me. And so because when people saw the picture, right, they thought it was him, but from like when he was young, right? He at that time, I forgot his actual name, but Jason, the Red Ranger, he got a little bit bigger because out of the martial arts game and stuff like that. So like, no, different people, man. But yeah,
I did show my kids the old Power Rangers, and it's campy. I don't necessarily think it holds up real well, but
I mean, it's supposed to be campy. It's like I look at that stuff for us like, yeah, that's for kids. Like that's definitely for kids. That's definitely for like, for nostalgia stuff. And so when I'm like, that's the same reason why I look at now at like Kamala Khan. I'm like, it's campy for me. It's kind of cringe inducing for me because I'm older now and I see that and like, oh, I went through that stuff. And so kids gonna look at that stuff now.
Just had that conversation.
Yeah.
Literally just had the conversation with my brother yesterday about. He's like, Kamala Khan just does not. Speak to me, and I'm like, it's not. It's our generation's Peter Parker.
Yeah.
If you go back and read Amazing Spider-Man back in the 1960s, as I'm literally staring at a copy of ASM or Amazing Fantasy, was it 14? It's on a calendar. I don't really have my own copy. 15. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, I was like, Peter Parker had to deal with those kind of issues, and we just don't realize it. And he goes, yeah, but he was also having to fight, the Green Goblin. I'm like,
yeah, that's the cool stuff. That's the cool stuff. Yeah, it's like
okay.
It's like I feel like Peter is given a big pass for a lot of it, mainly because like we've seen this story already, right? Type of stuff, right? We've seen the story already, and we're more easy to like lean back into the story because we know the beats already. We know that he's gonna be a kid, he's gonna be super angsty or whatever, quippy, whatever, gonna deal with with stuff growing up, and then he's gonna go into fighting, Green Goblin, or the Vulture or whatever have you, because we're here for those beats. People don't know Kamala Khan's story. That's the thing. We kind of do, but at the same time, it's like, okay, we've seen the story beat. I really don't want to go through with it, stuff like let the young kids go through with that. Let them be indifferent to that, man. And so let them do that. They're the ones that want to go and do that, man. And so I just feel that's a lot of the MCU kind of tidings right now. Granted, like I did go through She-Hulk, and like I understand I'm not the audience for that either, right?
No.
I really want to be a fan of She-Hulk because I'm a fan of She-Hulk, right? The character
Yeah.
She-Hulk. It's just that I'm not a fan of how the stories are wrapping around her, where it's very much that, that the procedural the procedural era, whatever is, kind of the thing for that week or that episode type of stuff, right? With the somewhat the overarching story, right? That's okay when it's a longer it should be okay when it's like a longer timeline, like 20 episodes, right? And to me, it just feels like it feels like just one of those those ABC 25-minute episode or 25-minute shows where it's supposed to be this kind of whatever campy stuff. They lead into an overarching storyline and they go into that. I'm not saying it's Friends, but like it follows some of the Friends format.
Kind of, yeah.
Right. It's one of those things. I'm like, for me, it's not for me because I expect better from a Marvel property. Right. And I understand that they want to go into these other territories or these other type of avenues to do other stories. And that's fine, man. Y'all got the money for that. You got the money for that. But just know, just like, I'm not going to, it doesn't really entice me to watch it. I'll probably watch the Temple episodes, most likely than anything else. Right. I'll watch Temple episodes, but that's about it. It's like, it's the same for me. The reasoning is this. I'm a huge Supernatural fan. I don't expect anybody against Supernatural. Right. I don't expect to like plant my flag and say, hey, if you don't watch Supernatural, you're a bad person. Because I don't expect people to go into 15 freaking seasons, 1 hour every single day, or into a storyline that they don't like, right? It's demons, it's two brothers killing demons, killing monsters, and they have their ebbs and flows and sticks and stuff, right? And if you're not captured within the first like couple episodes, you're not gonna be into it. I get that. That's fine. You can like other things, and that's what I feel about just like with a lot of these shows that come around for MCU. Now, I understand that a lot of people, a lot of haters are trying to twist that and say that, MCU is going to trash, man. I'm like, it's not like that, dog. It's just, you and we're just older and it's not for us anymore. And you got to be okay with that. It's not for us anymore, my guy. It's like, what's the, not to this might be a rough segue too, man, but to segue into possibly having our last iteration of Thor from Chris Hemsworth, where he come out recently too, saying that because of he went to the doctor and he found a condition that he's predisposed to oh my gosh, what's the word? To Alzheimer's, right?
Yeah.
That he's like, if I'm here now, like you have to really, really get me interested into coming back because I don't want to just spend time with my kids and my family.
Yeah.
And I've seen people run with that and say, oh my gosh, this is the dig I typed with TT. I'm like, really?
No, and that's the thing is, real quick segue to kind of add context.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth filmed a documentary show for Disney Plus called Limitless. In it, there's a part where he sits down with a geneticist and talks about takes blood, does some DNA testing, stuff like that. A lot of it's to find out, a lot of the stuff that they do, that stuff is to find out genealogy and stuff like that, but also to find out what kind of issues you may have physically in your bloodline. And they said that he was genetically disposed to Alzheimer's. Now, the doctor did go on to tell Chris Hemsworth that the percentage of possibility that he will ever first off, the percentage of plus and minus on this test is like 20% or something like that. So there's a percentage that says this test completely wrong. There's also a percentage that says that though this test could be 100% accurate, it also means that, but it also says that the case studies that say, hey, Chris Hemsworth, you might be predisposed to Alzheimer's. There might only be a 5% chance that you are. So they didn't give an exact number, but he said that the number was small. But he said, he doesn't take life too seriously, and or he didn't. He wanted to take life more seriously, and have more time spent with his family and be a little bit more lighthearted and stuff like that. So he's made millions, doing the Thor films. And
he's been a star for 10 years now, bro.
Yeah.
So sorry to cut you off, but it's around that time.
No, perfect.
It's definitely around that time. And I've seen he's also made a comment about it takes, I've been with directors who are the mad geniuses, right? And there's Now he just wants to be around people that's kind of a little more chill, right? Because he talked about people are trying to link up these dots of like Taika Waititi and the next movie he's doing Mad Max, and it's the director of Mad Max, Frank Miller, I think.
Oh,
Miller.
cool.
Right, and he's talking about like I had with Miller, and Miller's a genius, but he's just and he's a lot more chill. He wants to bring more people in, and like that's the type of point and stage where I want to go with my life right now. And like I've seen people run with it and go like, oh, this is a dig at Taika, this is a dig at woke Hollywood and all that stuff. Like, nah, dog, this is a guy who wants to be more chill and later on in his life, and he just want to go through the like this like it's crazy the amount of like social media clickbait bullshit that we see with a lot of like just all this stuff, man. It's just so cringe. Like, dog, you're old too. You know this. Chris Hemsworth just wants to chill with his family.
Exactly.
Like every person wants to do.
And to add context to his quote, I did see the quote. He says, "For me to come back for the character, we need to reinvent the character again."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's not a dig at Taika. Though I will say, if anyone who's seen my list, I did post my updated rankings of the MCU.
Yeah.
Though I enjoy Ragnarok and I enjoyed Love and Thunder, they're not my favorites. I have been outspoken against Ragnarok and Love and Thunder, and I think that that Taika is a good director. Though I've never seen Jojo Rabbit, and I do kind of want to see it. I like what he has done with The Mandalorian in some of the episodes that he has directed, but I never took it as a dig, because if you have seen, and which I do, I love behind the scenes. I love making of stories.
Yeah.
So whenever Disney Plus releases their making of a video, little documentaries.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they're called now, but anyways, as soon as they released the Thor behind the scenes of Thor: Love and Thunder, Chris Hemsworth specifically says in there, because this is the biggest he has ever gotten. And I think he said something like he had added 50 pounds more weight than how big he was for well, not even for Thor 1, for Ragnarok. Obviously he wore a bodysuit for Endgame, and for Endgame, but and parts of Love and Thunder. But no, he said that straight up, that was the most jacked he has ever been. And one of the reasons was he was going completely nude. Spoiler alert. He straight up said, I will never go that big again, because now with me, I was, according to the size I am, I'm 5'11". I was morbidly obese. At the beginning of this year, I was at 250 pounds. 250 pounds plus, coming off of COVID. And I remember I was at work and my knees started to really, really hurt. And because I was carrying around what the doctors say was at least 70 extra pounds. I should be under 200 pounds, 200 pounds maximum for 5'11" and the body size that I am. So imagine Chris Hemsworth, who's what, 6'3"?
No, he's tall.
He's tall. Okay, he's a Greek god, or I'm sorry, a Norse god. So let's call him 6'3", 6'4", right?
Yeah.
You should be what, between 250, 280, maybe?
Something.
No, probably 250. Between 220 and 250. So he was like something like 260, 270.
Yeah.
Jack.
It's definitely one of those things where like, it's definitely one of those things where like, if it's again the BPI levels for how people should. It's basically the every time you see the BPI levels of corresponding to like height and weight, it's always towards like what lifestyle you're using, right? If you're working a 9-to-5 job, and you're 5'5", you should not be 220 pounds. You should not be. You lead a sedentary life type of stuff, right? That was that type of thing. For Chris Hemsworth, 260 pounds at 6'4" for only 3 months, that's a lot. That's a lot, bro. And not only is he 50 pounds more jacked, right, for 3-4 months, right? You're also talking about he's gonna lose that weight possibly for another role, and maybe that's gonna ask him to be at 205 to 11. Like people don't understand this. The massive weight decrease from going to that heavy to that short in a time frame is insane, man. But you're talking about you're trying to lose weight. Where does the weight go? Not just in your gut and your area, but like you're talking about weight in your muscles, weight in your organs, stuff like that. Like that's one of the scariest things too. Like if you lose weight too fast, one of the biggest fears, don't quote me on this, is that like if you lose weight in your heart, guess what's gonna freaking happen? It's gonna collapse, my guy.
He's 6'3" and averages 200 pounds. So now that's lean.
Yeah,
that's lean. At 5'11", I'd love to be at 200 pounds right now.
Yeah,
I'm at just under 230. But think about him at 6'3", and he's carrying around between 30 and 50 pounds of pure muscle. It doesn't matter. They will tell you what weighs more, fat or muscle. Muscle weighs more, and it has the same effect on the rest of your body. And so
bodybuilders
was not digging. Chris was not digging at Taika. He was digging at the fact that like if I'm coming back, you got to make this role more geared towards old man Thor. Basically,
it's definitely and I hate that people are using the clickbait, social media type of stuff, right? Whereas like they're using it as like, oh, it's a dig at the woke mark. No, it's not, dog. Like, stop it. You know what you're doing. And so like, but when stuff comes back by saying that like when it comes to whatever type of like media, I'll just call it fucking for what it is, man. Majority of the time, these woke quote unquote haters or woke realtors, right? They're DC, not even DC fans. They're freaking they're freaking Snyder fans that want to fucking pump this bullshit of like, oh no, it's God is a male and white and all that bullshit, man. It's like, I don't stop it, man. I know what you're doing. It's cringe because you're taking a guy in who literally wants to like, enjoy the last parts of his life, basically with his family, with his kids, all that stuff. You're twisting to this social media shit. I hate that shit, bro. That's cringe to me. That leads back to my Twitter fucking beef and Twitter rant bullcrap of like all that stuff, dog. It's like you feed into this system, my guy. You feed into this well of bullshit, right? Where you profit, but then when it happens to you, you fucking claim victim. Like, dog, stop it. I know I'm fucking going on a soapbox and ranting on some other shit, dog, but like I hate it. I hate it. Chris Hemsworth just wants to be with his family. He is pushing 40, right? He's pushing 40. And he's trying to, see his kids, his young boys grow up into men. Like you can't just constantly have you can't have these actors who are in the near the prime of their adulthood, right? In the prime of their lives and being a parent, and have them be away from their families, 4, 5, 6 months out of the year to film a movie because you fucking love combo characters, bro. It's like you can't just keep on juggling that. Like these guys, that's the reason why we have a lot of newer, younger actors and actresses, because they can do that. That's in their career mode. Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, RDJ, RDJ, I love the guy. Glad he's not doing movies anymore because he just wants to chill and be whatever the hell he is right now. Right?
Yeah, right. Have you seen those pictures of him where he's shaved his head? And
he's shaved his head. He looks like he's relaxed. He's looked like he's chilling. Yeah. He's looking like he's still living off that $100 million that he made from freaking from Infinity War and Endgame. Hey man,
it's cute that you think it was only $100 million.
Hey, it's.
I think he made more than that.
I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure they miss him now too. In the sense of like, I feel too. That's the reason why a lot of the older crew left. He's like, all right, cool. Let the younger kids do it. Because again, Scarlett Johansson, 2 kids, wants to still do movies, yes, but also still, likes being a mom. You got Chris Pratt, right? Granted, his exit is different.
Coming up.
His exit's coming up. That fucking sucks. And that again too goes to social media bullshit again. Yeah, that sucks. Seeing him go. You have oh my gosh, who plays Gamora? We should have a big fan for her. Zoe Saldana. We should have fucking huge fan for her, dude. Like she's been a stalwart too for how many goddamn movies, how many years, bro? And people forget about her. Like but I'm happy for her because one, she's gonna be the first person in all of history to be in like how many freaking $1 billion movies? right? And Avatar and Endgame and Avatar and Avatar, freaking Infinity War, and another movie. I forgot which one.
Zoe.
Yeah,
Zoe's in Guardians 1, 2, and 3. She is coming
Yeah.
back for the third one. We don't know if
Mhm.
she's going to be in the holiday special, which is this Friday.
Mhm.
She was in Infinity War, and she was also in Endgame,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
she was not in Love and Thunder. So
she was what she was the only actress in like Hollywood history to be in multiple $1 billion movies at one point. Happy for her. I'm hoping she just like gets a big check and just rides off in the sunset as she should, right? A lot of these older characters, guess what, guys, are older, and they kind of want to like have lives outside of acting, and not be at a spot for 3 to 5 to 6 months at a time, and be with their families. It's like it's like I don't know. It's what happens when you get older. You realize all this other stuff doesn't fucking matter. And like, granted, yes, there were gonna be comic book characters and act and superheroes and all that stuff. But like, yo, I want them to live their lives afterwards because, guys, this is the biggest thing. I was like, we've been losing our heroes quicker. For me, I feel like we've been losing our heroes quicker in the last couple of years. And so, like, I want them to enjoy their shit. So when Captain America said that he wants to retire, at first I was hurt, but in my mind thinking like, he's been Captain America for a while. He's been in all this stuff for a while. If he wants to come back and do something here or there, great. That's great. Let him do whatever the fuck he wants because he's alumni. He's OG. Right.
And it's no different. It's no different too than what is going on in the comic books right now. Because if you look at it, Steve Rogers in the comic books had kind of gone away, other than the of course the Hail Hydra. I'm sorry, we're just getting a. We're getting started. So someone's commenting. Batista want to leave. So what do you want them to do? Start the origin story all over again if they use younger actors to continue the story based on the source material?
Batista want to leave since like the second movie. Ever since they freaking try to axe James, or ever since they axed James Gunn, Batista wanted to leave, man.
Yeah, and when they launched all the Disney Plus stuff, and there was no Batista or there was no Drax origin story, which I guess he's been pitching for years, and I guess James Gunn even wanted it, but that's not what they wanted to do. I really do kind of think they missed the boat on telling Drax's backstory. The more and more, because it really is an interesting story, and they kind of hinted at it in Guardians 1 with, of course, him talking about
his family,
Ronan the Destroyer.
Ronan. Was Ronan? Yeah, they never Ronan the
Accuser.
The Accuser, yeah.
Ronan the Accuser. So Ronan killing his family, and then at the end of the movie, he goes, "Ronan didn't kill my family. Thanos did." So they missed an opportunity to tell that story and give a little backstory on Thanos. So, no, GZ on Twitch. I don't think that we're going to see any. I really don't think we're going to see any recast of the Guardians. I think they're going to let the characters kind of ride off on the sunset. Just kind of they'll pick and choose like characters that'll go like, you know what, Dave Bautista, 5 years from now, we can get him to come back. We can get him to come back.
Maybe
we'll throw $10 million at him, and we'll get him.
We also gotta understand the fact too that Dave Bautista, he went through a bunch of stuff too, health wise too. We also have to understand that fact too. Like you're talking about Dave Bautista, the man, right? Didn't he go through like his wife went through cancer and he had like a couple heart conditions.
Yeah, he's been around the block a couple times.
Yeah, and so you have to understand the fact too that sometimes, man, you have a small window when you're an actor for that thing you want to do, and if it goes, man. Maybe you get lucky and it comes back a second time around. But like for Dave Bautista, who probably just wants to be with his wife, wants to, get paid well, so that the rest of his life, their lives will be fine. It's like, do you want to? It's that inevitable question. If you can make money, cool, you make money, but that money you make takes time away from you, from your family, from your loved ones, from your sons, your daughters, your wife, or your spouse, whatever. And so, it's like they're old. Like Dave Bautista's pushing 50.
Yeah,
he's old. They're all old. He's
about ready to do Metal Gear. Yeah. Gears of War. I'm sorry, Gears of War.
He's doing Gears of War. He's probably got stuff lined up with James and for doing DC. And so like when him coming back to Marvel, him coming back to Marvel and MCU, that might be a smaller window too. And that's good. That's a good problem for him.
And I should point out Cheesy too. Also, what are they going to do? He asked, so what do you want them to do? Start the origin story all over again? No, this isn't Sony. But
it's not.
No, because
I mean, yeah, it sucks. You can't constantly. I've never been one to try to pull a Marvel and try to pull another number one out. We're talking comic books now, where they reboot a franchise over and over fucking over again, right? We're like, oh, you did you forget we had this character? Yeah, I fucking remember Captain Marvel from fucking 2 years ago that you rebooted.
Yeah,
I feel like we don't need that. I feel like we don't need that with like Drax or like the Guardians of the Galaxy because like they're still pretty relevant. They've only been around for like what 6-7 years total.
The movies, yes, but the this incarnation, this group, same. People don't realize this group of this version, this team of the Guardians, was mix and match from different versions of the Guardians: Gamora, Rocket, Drax, Groot, and Star-Lord. And even Nebula, not even Nebula. I don't think Nebula was ever really a Guardian.
No, Nebula was no.
But they were all kind of mix and match. So
it's.
But I don't think there's going to be any origin story changes and stuff like that. Though ask Marvel because they've done it in comics.
Yeah, ask us in 10 years. Maybe that's enough time frame for like everyone to get older. All the kids grew up with Phase 1 are now probably in their 30s at that point, right? And they'll take our places, right? Of hating the shit that like rebooted now. Maybe they'll take our places too, probably. Or like, but that because it's just how it always goes.
I'm sure there's people that were fans of Tobey Maguire that hated on Andrew Garfield, and there's probably fans of Andrew Garfield that hated on Tom Holland.
Yeah.
But I think that ended up working out to our advantage because you get to tell the multiverse story. So who knows? Maybe there's a multiversal version of Drax who is played by the next. Who knows? Maybe there's a version of Drax out there that's played by Roman Reigns. Who knows?
I gotta say, who else is who's the other Uso that's currently in NXT, and it's not part of the Brotherhood.
Oh shit! It's
him. He's big. I think he could play the next Drax, but that'll be whenever.
Possibility. It's not Rikishi's son because that's who the Usos are. That's
He's a cousin.
He's a cousin, and I can't remember who he's related to. Nonetheless, the Anale or Anahu. I can't remember what it is, but the Rock's family tree is. But I don't know. It's worked out to our advantage. We're in the multiversal saga now. That it's also a possibility that you could have somebody else play Drax, not necessarily to reboot it, but to tell a different story or something like that. So
that's fine. Yeah, again, like we talked about before. Now when you open the multiverse saga, when you open the whole multiverse, right, and understand that like it's just this ever engrossing series of stories. Well, they'll do the same thing with the comic books. They'll do more what ifs. But like full on, episodic or maybe hopefully possibly like bigger like movies type of stuff, right? Temple movies. And so you could do that with like these one-off characters that like can't necessarily, in my opinion, can't hold a full movie by themselves. But like, I'll definitely watch a Drax miniseries. I'll definitely watch. Drax
rated.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, he keeps on breaking stuff. It's all good. I'll keep on talking though. I would definitely watch.
Stupid kids.
I'll definitely watch like those type of movies or those type of episodes where like it's the one-off, it's the one-shots. I want to see what happens with like with that one kid, Iron Man's other child, right? That he adopted in Iron Man 3.
Him,
right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be Iron Lad, right? And so he's supposed to be that guy. So like all these other things that can possibly move into, I don't know, multiverse shit, dude. And so that'll be fun to see. That'd be great to see. And just going back to like a lot of the actors and a lot of the actresses that are, I'm telling you, man, I understand us as a fans. We want these characters to continue to play these characters forever. It's just not a possibility, my guy. It's just not. It's not like
People get old just like the rest of us.
I don't want like I as a martial arts fan, right? As a fan of like Hong Kong cinema and watching Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Donnie Yen, all these guys come up, and as much as acclaim as they're getting right now, Donnie Yen's being in the new fucking John Wick movie, right? John Wick 4 is awesome to see. Donnie Yen's pushing 60, and I don't want him to do a move one day, him do a bad move and him break his freaking ankle or displace his hip and he's done for the next 4 or 5 years. I don't want that to happen to him. I don't want that to happen to any other actors and actresses. It's like it's like that, man. It's like that because like I understand they have like stunt doubles and all that stuff, but like sometimes we have actors and actresses, they do their own stunts, and I just don't want them to be put in a position where like they're that y'all ever see that a boxing match or wrestling match and that wrestler or the boxer that it should have retired years ago?
Ric Flair.
That's my opinion about like some of these actors and actresses when they should hang up the boots for this character. Let the young people do it, right? That's my opinion. It's like when I see Ric Flair or oh my gosh, who's he passed away? Steve Nash. Not Steve.
Not Steve. Kevin Nash. You're talking about, but Scott Hall.
Scott Hall, right? I still remember that. I still remember that video of him, pushing 60, 70, trying to do a wrestling match with somebody, and he just like it looked like he has Alzheimer's.
I've seen him when he was in his 40s or his 50s trying to wrestle, and it was not good.
It was
another great question here from GZ. Tom Holland said he was doing one more Spider-Man, then he's taking a break to start a family. So what happens then? They reboot Spider-Man origin story, and we see Uncle Ben die again, or do they make Spider-Man 5 with a new actor out of the blue and insult our intelligence? No. Here's what I see happening, and they're going to rip a page right out of the comic books. First off, we've never seen Uncle Ben die in the MCU. It's insinuated. We've seen glimpses of Uncle Ben's shadow, but never directly referenced. I think supposedly they're going to reference him in Spider-Man Freshman Year, which is the animated series. But now they're saying that Spider-Man might be a multiversal Spider-Man.
It's fine. The
Tom Holland main MCU Spider-Man. This is how I see how it happening. He dies. He comes across a villain, Venom, or Carnage, and is taken out. And guess who comes to the rescue? Correct me if I'm wrong, JR. In the comic books, doesn't the main Spider-Man from Earth 616, Peter Parker, correct me if I'm wrong, did Earth 616 Peter Parker die?
Technically, yeah, he did. He kind of did, yeah.
Okay. Isn't there a character in the... Well, actually, I should say, in this case, the character in the Ultimates universe that took his place?
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, you're talking two different universes here.
Okay, but there is a Peter Parker who died.
Yes.
And there was a person who took his place.
Yes, yeah. So in the Ultimate universe, which is basically the crazier, out of context, universe where mutants, instead of being an evolutionary type of thing, they were crafted in a lab somewhere in America. It was again, multi-universe is freaking weird. But that Spider-Man died against Green Goblin. Yes. And it's that pivotal cover, awesome cover we've seen where it says that Spider-Man's dead, and we have the aforementioned Miles Morales come to play. Miles Morales made again by Brian he will not be named. God damn it! But he will not be named by me. He made Miles. He also made Genki. He made some of the origin story that was fleshed out. But the thing about this, I need to have some kind of like push break on, is that quite literally Tom Holland's Spider-Man version is the carbon copy of Miles Morales' origin story. So it's it's bit for bit.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man is very much Miles Morales. Yeah. Even to the point where MJ Michelle, who is a real character in the comic books, is a character, I believe,
In
from
Miles Morales, yeah.
in Miles Morales.
I mean,
Genki in the comic books is what's his name?
Is
Is
Genki is I forget, but the Filipino Genki's Asian.
yeah.
He I think in the comic books he's actually Malaysian, and
Oh yeah,
so
but
but in
the character that's in the MCU
he's Filipino.
is
He's
Filipino.
yeah.
So yeah, very much Tom Holland's Spider-Man is very much the ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question, GZ, no, it's not good. Well, comic books have been insulting our intelligence for hundreds of years, for 100 years.
Yeah.
But that's what we like them. It's we can no, we can because we can let go of reality for a second and
I,
just let it
I
go.
will I will say this about comics. The comics that you love growing up, that you and I love growing up, right?
Yeah.
That we were kids, we still grow up with them. They're still there. They're still trying to market to kids. I think that's the biggest thing, right? I will always constantly say that, like, yeah, comics are for kids, right? It's I harken back to the point where, like, I forgot which video game it was for, like, my nephews were like saying that they loved the video game growing up, right? For like the PS2 or PS3, and when we tried replaying it, it was dumb for us. Like, oh man, it's so dumb because, like, we're already intelligent, we know what's going on, but lo and behold, we come our younger nephew, and he's into the game, right? But for us, we've seen it already. We know this. We already know this. We already know this path over and over again. I keep on saying, man, it's like a lot of the comic books are still very much geared towards the young generation, the young kids growing up. And granted, yeah, they're getting a lot more preachy. I understand that portion of it, but it's like it's still, man. It's just it's this weird symbiotic thing of, like, it's still marketed to kids. It's still geared about kids, but it also has, like, trying to go tie into social structures of today, which I feel like they do better if Marvel did a DC Black label. I feel like they would have a better connection for you and I, right? If Marvel did DC Black, if they let fucking Miles Morales deal with racism in DC in a Marvel Black, that would set a better precedent for me. If let's say Kamala Khan dealt with that in a Marvel Black, it would set a better precedent because it would show more so about the realities of that, right? Rather than having that show out in, like, a Champions type of stuff, right? In a Marvel Champions, where, like, it's just like super corny, everything's uplifting, and it's we beat the bad guy in. Who's the bad guy? The bad guy was racism. It's like I get this is for kids, right? But I'm still a fan of it, and I still read it, and so it's like it feels like it's insulting to me because we are already, or me personally, I'm already an adult that knows this type of stuff. So it's just hard to disconnect that because it's, again, a thing that I love and cherish and grew up with. But yeah, comic books are stuck in their preteens because they're made for preteens. I think that was the thing.
So I forgot what was the other point I was going to make, but nonetheless, real quick, don't forget, and scrolling there on the bottom if you're watching the video screen, you can actually stream with us on Twitch. JR, you got any live streams coming up?
I'm actually I haven't really been playing that much. I go on
nonstop,
bro. I see you playing FIFA. I'm like, my guy. But granted, I understand the FIFA Cup's happening in
yes,
Qatar.
The FIFA World Cup in Qatar is going on, and I've got World Cup fever going. Team USA playing on Black Friday. Tomorrow, Brazil, the one of the favorites of every World Cup, plays tomorrow, and I've had fun. Big upset. Saudi Arabia defeating Argentina yesterday 2-1. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, couldn't sleep, turned it on, and went, "Oh shit, freaking Argentina's losing. I got to watch this game." And then I sat down and watched all 4 matches.
Argentina's Neymar, right? Wait, which team is Neymar on? Argentina? No,
Argentina's Messi.
Messi. Oh shit.
Yeah, Messi, and I think Messi had the only goal. He scored a PK early on in the match, and then Saudi just laid it on him. Obviously, a lot of controversy about the World Cup this year. Not the type of podcast to get into that. I don't know all of the details of it, so I don't want to sit here and spout off stuff I don't know a whole lot about. But there is a couple of documentaries out there. I know my brother sent me one from the BBC that's supposed to be really good on YouTube. And I'm gonna have, if I get a chance tomorrow or Friday to watch it, I will. By the way, cheap plug. Hold on, let me get it up there. Not 100% sure, but be on the lookout for your local comic book store. I know that the Asylum Comic Asylum usually does it. Giving them a little plug there. But be on the lookout for your local comic store if they're going to be doing any Black Friday deals. You want to get there early. Typically, Asylum does. I haven't heard anything otherwise. They usually will advertise it literally the morning of, so that they aren't like caught off guard with a huge line out their door. But I will say this: every year they threaten to cancel their Black Friday sale for 2 reasons, and you're looking at both of them.
Yeah,
I love telling the story.
It's true.
They advertised a Black Friday sale. This is like the second or the third year they were open. They actually advertised a Black Friday sale. Who are the first 2 guys in line? Kevin and JR. Now, Chick, Javelle, the whole Q family, they're in Honolulu. They're in Hawaii.
That's right.
And JR and I are flipping long boxes. Long boxes. We're going through the key books, and because we knew that Javelle had hidden gems. He had wall books in and amongst dollar bin. That's how he rolls. He wants you to earn it. He wants you to flip long boxes. And I remember JR and I've got a stack of we found all the gems. And this is a 50-cent sale too. This was like they're selling wall books for 50 cents. I found multiple copies sealed, still sealed, polybagged of Death of Superman. People are going, well, like, probably Death of Superman's not that worth that much, but I don't give a crap. I bought probably a $10 or $20 wall book for 50 cents. I don't care. But I remember at one point they had like a ring camera in the asylum, and Q is calling over the camera, going like to both of us, like, bro, seriously, leave some of the rest. Like, we're done. No more fucking Black Friday sale, but every year they come back.
I knew it was bad when I forget it was either me or Jeff or Packer Jeff, where Packer Jeff, shout out to him, man. He's an OG too.
Hell yeah, Packer Jeff, OG fan of us too.
Where it was I think we flipped through the boxes, right, and we found the first appearance of Black Cat on the dollar bin. I'm like, what the hell is this doing here? right. And then that was the year when Javelle was there, right? And we look at Javelle, I'm like, Javelle, what the hell? He goes, oh shit, that's there. That's just how
that's Q for you. That's Q. Yeah. He'll do that kind of stuff.
So it was like, you got up, man.
You and I found a rare, like, second or third print. So it's not like thousands of dollars, but it's, it's a $50, $60, $70 wall book. Was the gold foil cover. It's like a second or third printing of the first appearance of Cable.
Oh yeah.
And I think I found a copy. You found a copy. That's the kind of stuff that we found. But a lot of variants. I mean, he's not going to go sit there and hide an Amazing Spider-Man number 129 in the dollar bin. He's not going to do that. No. But that's firmly planted in my collection here at Casa de la Pillow. With the lame 7.4 CGC purple band bullshit.
Hey man, like we've had a conversation about that. But like, just
all I'm waiting for is what's his name, the writer, to show up at a Comic-Con. That thing's getting cracked open and signed. Hopefully he's sober this time.
Yeah, which he should do that. But yeah, that's crazy. Again, big shout outs to all our 2 remaining comic book shops here in the Valley, Comic Asylum and Desert Oasis.
Desert Oasis. And I will probably be on about, so if you want to get an autograph, find someone more famous. But I will be I'm going to try. I have not been to Desert Oasis in over a year.
Yeah.
I
He's
am
everything.
due. So I've not seen my friend Sid in a long time, and it's high time that I go and do
Yeah,
that.
I guess he said too.
Yeah. Real quick, um, absolute shock. Well, the timing was shocking.
Okay.
I think it was inevitable.
Uh-huh.
Okay, arguably outside. No disrespect to Jason David Frank, and the legacy that he's left, and the big story that was the Green Ranger passing away. But arguably the biggest story of the week comes out of Hollywood. Bob Chapek, former former CEO of Disneyland,
Mm.
was the heir apparent to the great Bob Iger. Takes over in 2020, gets handed the shit pile that was the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Has no theme parks for over a year, including Disneyland for almost 2 years, which has been a cash cow for the Walt Disney Corporation. He has to guide the ship through elevated wokeism in the parks and on his platforms and whatnot, whatever. A lot of other stuff. Of course, the handling of the Scarlett Johansson issue, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. The failure that people are calling Disney Plus, with the exception of pretty much The Mandalorian. Bob Chapek can now
Yep.
add to his resume former CEO and chairman of the board of the Walt Disney Corporation, because he was ousted on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Late story out of Hollywood. The Hollywood Reporter, I believe, was the first to break the story. Bob Chapek was well, he resigned.
Yeah.
Some will say that he
Was
resigned on
forced
his
out.
own. Some
Yeah.
will say he was forced out. I think he was forced out. Um, and guess who's coming back?
Yeah.
That's right. Thanos himself, Mr. Bob Iger, who collected corporations like they were Infinity Stones. Let's see. Right here, Pixar, Marvel Entertainment, Lucasfilm, 20th Century Fox. WB, Iger's coming for you. I think he smells blood in the water. How sick would this be, JR?
Mm.
He only has a 2-year moratorium.
Yeah.
Bob Iger is now the interim CEO and chief operator and the chairman of the board of the Walt Disney Corporation for
Yep.
for a minimum, or sorry, for a maximum of 2 years.
Yeah.
While they find a suitable replacement. And of course, if you've got an idea of who you think will be the next CEO of the Walt Disney Corporation, let us know in the comment section below. And I think there is only one person I think that a lot of people are going to say, and it's within the Disney Corporation.
I
And
don't
I'll
think
get to
they'll
that in
do it.
just a second.
No.
But how sick would it be, JR? We've talked about this before, that the
Yeah.
current state of Warner of Discovery WB is that they are breaking apart all of their assets.
Yeah.
And they are gearing up for a sale, so to speak.
Yeah.
We saw DC Comics sell their multi-million-dollar facility in Los
Yep.
Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
They no longer are in New York. They're all on the
Mhm.
West Coast.
Yep.
We just saw them hire James Gunn. I think is a
Mm.
good move to run DC Films.
Mhm.
Black Adam has been a commercial and critic bomb for Warner Brothers and WBO. It lost money.
Mm.
It has lost money. It will not make back its production profit in theater.
Okay.
What are the chances that Discovery WB, if given an opportunity, sells off part of its assets to Bob Iger and the Disney Corporation? I'm talking about DC Comics. I mean, how would that be the last, the reality stone right there, the last one, and Bob Iger's Infinity Gauntlet?
No. I would not want that at all. There's a big difference between
Oh,
Kevin.
want and it happening are two different things.
Here's a. I think that's full on. I think that will be full on. We call it like a pouring the market type of stuff, because now you're catering towards just one. Like
That's
the
true. It would
biggest,
be a monopoly.
it'll be an monopoly, because like it's one thing if Kevin Feige outright buys DC, because if that happens, he has to leave Marvel. Very
Yes.
much in the very much the same way of James Gunn having to axe every Marvel thing he has to do. Now he's head of DC. Like it's the thing. That's that. I feel like it would be better off if those two entities would be just separate, just in general. Mainly because mainly for the
I
fact,
think it would be always better. Yeah.
yeah, mainly for the fact that like you're looking in the sense of like everything's gonna be too samey. Like we already have people are gonna say superhero movies already are just too samey, right? I'm gonna say this: ain't nothing like the Batman on Marvel. Ain't nothing like the Batman on Marvel. Y'all ain't got shit on the Batman. That's my personal opinion. Ain't
No,
nothing like
it's a completely different movie, but
ain't,
whereas the same thing is
ain't nothing like Dune on Marvel. That's all I can say about that. But because we're talking about taking all of WB too. But like in the sense of like if that's a possibility, man, I would say rather than fucking buy WB, go ham and buy Sony.
I see that happening, and that
I
has been close,
yeah.
super close before.
I feel like that's a bigger possibility because you're now looking at this aspect. Like, granted, Sony is in the billions, Disney is in the multi billions, and so there's a huge difference in that type of sense too.
Well, for
So
now,
for now,
Bob Chapek lost $40 billion in 2 years.
that 40 billion is like a drop in the bucket in comparison to
Okay.
what Disney is in total, man. 40 billion is like probably the market. Is probably quite honestly like near the operating cost for Sony, and so it's like the biggest thing for Sony right now is like they have great cameras, which Disney has been
They'll
wanting.
always have that. Yeah.
Great cameras, as well as like the properties for doing proper fucking video games in general. That will clear up a lot of things for Disney. And so I think the bigger move for them would probably be to get Sony. But even in that sense too, I don't want Sony to be gobbled up by this corporation because a lot of that now is going to stem into what Sony's market in Japan, and like, but like again, it's curated type of it's curated market. I feel like Bob Iger is not going to do jack shit in the next 2 years. I feel like he's just going to write the ship, let the checkbook fly, do what they need to do, have MCU continue to churn out or try to churn out or go back to their ways of trying to churn out great material. All right, I think that's what he's going to do. It's like, no, we need to write the ship, we need to do these things. I don't want. Oh, he only has 2 years. I don't see these big. I don't see these big groundbreaking moves going for 2 years. Like when you talk about that WB deal, and that one took a while. When you talk originally about that Lucasfilms deal, that one took a while. And so I feel like if there's any of those talks happening, it happens now, and it's gonna be acquired until after he's gone. I feel that's more of a possibility than anything else. Because like when I look at this stuff too, like when I look at the possible failings or the possible ownership, the switching of the hands of like ownership stuff, like yeah, WB is doing bad, but it's not doing horribly bad, right? In order for Disney or anyone to buy them up, they need to be doing horribly bad. I harken back to the situation when Activision was bought up by Microsoft. Activision was doing horribly bad,
Yeah.
like horrendously bad, and they had Call of Duty, right? And they were doing so bad that for the first time in their 10 years or so being top of the game, they were knocked down for a little bit to the point where Microsoft's like, all right, let's just buy them up now. All right, rather than paying for what I forgot how much money it was. Like I think it was like they paid like 50 billion or something like that, 56 or some crazy number. They would have paid originally 70 something billion, right? They would have paid higher if their market value was still at their utmost. And so it's like one of those things where like, yeah, Warner Bros is down, but not down enough type of stuff. Same thing with Sony. It would take Warner Bros. It would take Warner Bros. Other than a full-on financial collapse to happen for DC. I feel like that's probably the scenario. My closest scenario still with that they're gonna look at Sony and I feel like if they buy Sony, they're gonna buy Sony big, and Sony is worth that money, in my opinion. I feel like if you want to keep Spider-Man in the fold, if you want to keep all the like Spider-Man adjacent stuff on the fold, because you know how Sony Studios made up a new contract with Netflix of getting Silk her own spin-off series, and which I'm freaking pissed off about because I sold my first Silk 9.8 like last year. I'm very excited about that. I sold for $400. It's going for like 800, like $500-$600 now. I'm pissed the hell off, bro.
I still
I'm
got mine.
pissed the hell off, bro. But like, yeah, they're
dirt cheap.
and so like, if that's gonna happen, I feel like, yeah, Bob Iger might go for Sony. If that happens for Sony, I'm happy as a fan, but at the same time sad because like now all these things are gonna go towards trying to be adjacent towards Disney films. Will I ever get God of War? God of War is a great freaking game. Will I ever get like these other indie hits now for Sony, right? But at the same time, Sony doing a Star Wars movie, great. Or is doing a Star Wars game, great. But here we are. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, I honestly think that I think you're right. That it's most likely going to be, if anything, it's going to be Sony as opposed to Warner Brothers or Pixar or Universal. Just a little backstory for those who don't know. To this day, Steve Jobs, of course, one of the founders of Apple Computers, he was a board member of the Walt Disney Corporation. How did he get that? Well, he created a company when he was thrown out of Apple. He created this little company called Pixar. And he was a part of the deal that was made to have Disney be their distributor for their films. People don't realize Toy Story 2, Bugs Life, all those early Pixar movies were not Disney movies. They were licensed and they were produced but distributed by the Walt Disney Corporation. It was not until about 2007, I think, that Pixar was officially purchased by the Walt Disney Corporation. When Disney purchased Pixar, it added Steve Jobs, who was the largest owner in Pixar. It allowed him to get a board of directors seat at the Walt Disney Corporation, which of course is still given to him posthumously, and his wife has a vote on the board. And one of the stories that went around right before Steve passed away was that they had so much cash. They were so, as they call it, liquid, which means there was, after all their bills were paid and everything, they had this much cash. So at the end of the month, like when you and I, JR, we pay all of our bills, we have all that extra cash at the end of the month. Our credit card bills, our mortgages paid, our car payments paid. We are liquid. What can we do with that? Well, some corporations have to do something with it because they can't carry it over to the next year. They have to spend it because they're going to get taxed on it, and they're just going to basically give the money away to the federal government. So Steve Jobs went, who can I buy? Well, he actually at the time had the money to buy the Walt Disney Corporation. He wasn't going to do that because it would have been a conflict of interest. He would have had to sell his shares, blah, 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 blah. But by that point, people would have known things were coming. So he actually went to the board of directors and said, guess what? I'm going to buy Sony for you. And at the time, Apple wanted the technology that was in, as JR put it, in the cameras. He wanted the cameras. Didn't even want the gaming side. The PlayStation would have just been an added bonus. He wanted the cameras. Didn't want the movie studio. Didn't want the video game studio. Wanted the cameras. He was then going to turn over the film studio and all of its rights to the Walt Disney Corporation. He was going to sell it for like pennies on the dollar. He was just basically give it away. And that unfortunately never happened. They ended up buying other companies. Actually, I think they bought at one point. I think they bought a share in was it BlackBerry, or they were looking about getting into BlackBerry. No, I'm sorry, they bought the technology for Kodak. I think it was. But yeah, there was talk that the Disney Corporation was going to get the film studio, was basically going to be like, Merry Christmas, here's Sony Pictures and Columbia. And that just unfortunately never happened. So yeah, I agree with you, JR. I think that if
Yeah.
there's gonna be a purchase made by Iger, if he is allowed to do such a thing, I would see him buying Sony. However, I think that what Bob Iger is going to do is tell his theme park executives to get their shit in order, because my God, Disney World and Disneyland, especially Disneyland in Anaheim, is in a free for all or in a free
Yeah.
fall. Disney did finally put their annual passes back on sale, starting back in August. They actually, you could, if you had an existing annual pass, or as they call it, they call it something else now, but let's just call it what it is, the annual passes.
Yeah.
They put them, if you had an annual pass, you could renew it starting back in August, and then starting on Monday of last week, the annual passes went on sale to the general public, and they were sold out in 3 days, except for 2 passes. And as of press time, those passes were still available for sale. But I see Bob Iger doing more along the lines of getting the theme parks back in line, getting Disney Plus back in line, and this will lead to, I think, for time wise, will lead to our final story, and that is because I know, Jerry, you have some video games, but I want to save it.
Yeah. We'll do another. Yeah.
To this weekend, because I want to talk about video games this weekend. We are going to do a Black Friday show. It may not be on Friday. It'd be more of a shopping show that we'll do this weekend. Plus, we are going to do a Star Wars episode coming up very soon, where we will do a full recap of Andor. The final episode aired today as we record this. And we are going to do a Marvel Phase 4 wrap-up.
Yep.
That'll be sometime in early December, like second week of December, as we will cover the holiday special and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So if you want to avoid spoilers, you're going to want to avoid that show in a couple of weeks. But I want to wrap this up on this point, JR, because let's talk about our predictions on who the predecessor is going to be for Mr. Iger, and the predecessor for what I think is going to be the biggest change in Iger's short tenure is finding a new head of Lucasfilm. One of the stories that came that has been talked about over the last 72 hours has been what can Iger do to make Disney better? And of course, people said change the annual passes, get rid of Genie Plus, overhaul Disney Plus, buy WB. That's everyone wants to go straight to WB. But I think that his number one priority is going to be getting the theme parks in line, because Universal has a massive project that they're building in Orlando, which we'll talk about at another time. But the other thing that keeps coming up is replacing Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm. Yeah. And I think that really and truly the only thing that Kathleen Kennedy can lean herself on right now is The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, basically the Disney Plus shows.
Yeah.
So JR, I leave you, or let's get to the last topic on this. I think Iger's biggest point of contention to the next 2 years is going to be getting Lucasfilm in order. I think he's content with Kevin Feige knows what the fuck he's doing at Marvel. Does Kathleen Kennedy know what she's doing at Lucasfilm? So do they replace her? Who do they replace her with? And who is the inevitable replacement for Bob Iger in 2 years? Who is running the Walt Disney Corporation in 2020? Let's call it 2025. Yeah.
Yeah. We know the obvious answer for like who is replacing Kathleen Kennedy if that ever happens, right? You know, it's oh my gosh, I forgot his name, but like not Filoni. He's going to basically be given the green light for everything, but the actual person who's going to be running the show is I forgot his name.
Jon Favreau.
Thank you. Because like I was gonna say like if Favreau, it'd be great if Filoni do, but I feel like Filoni's more so of like the guy to do everything else, like to make.
He's a chief creator. He's not the CEO. He's not
exactly. Because that's what I'm saying, right? So the CEO is gonna be Jon Favreau, and that's fine because Jon Favreau is gonna say, "All right, just do what the fuck you want."
Yeah, pretty much.
He's like, "Do whatever the hell you want. Here's a blank check. Do this. Can you do this? If you can't do this, I'm gonna have A, B, C, D do this." Right?
Yeah.
Like, you finish out Ahsoka story. You finish out all the stuff that originally LucasArts was going to do. I'm gonna go back to the OG man himself, George Lucas. See what else you want to do. All right, you wanted these stories come out? Okay, how about like I just see that picture in my head like, oh, do you want these stories come out? Okay, what can we get Jada? Can we get Jada? Can we
There
get
we
Jada
go. I
Skywalker
knew it
come
was
back?
coming. I
Mara
was
Jade?
knew.
Can we get Mara Jade come by because that's been fan favorite? No, maybe. All right, cool. Then we'll do the other shit, right? It's like I feel like it would be a much more telling story, right? Because like it still hits all your beats. Cool. You want a strong female character, quote unquote strong female character, or you want a female character that a woman character that can be seen or has an arc of being strong, wanting to be stronger. Mara Jade. Mara Jade Skywalker. Hello. Like, oh, who's Mara Jade Skywalker? Yeah, motherfuckers, y'all don't know because y'all were in this newer age of Star Wars, and
Yep.
so it's like the Mara Jade Skywalker is Luke's wife, right? And that is the character that we need. We need her. We need and that gonna bring on to other things. Hopefully, if that's the case, retcon a bunch of shit that happened during
I just
the
don't know.
Last Jedi.
I don't know if they can retcon it. I think they'll just find a work. They'll find a workaround.
Yeah, multiverse. That's a different universe. All that stuff. Maybe bring back Daisy Ridley. Maybe she could have a better arc of story. Maybe we could bring back John Boyega. Maybe we give him the actual like Star Wars or like at least the become up of wanting to be a Jedi. Granted, too, he's a little bit older too now, and I don't think he wants to do any of that stuff anymore. I would love to see him be in more shows, but then again, he's fucking typecasted in blackball because of fucking Rian Johnson, punk ass. But here we are. And yeah. So okay, I'll walk that back. He wasn't blackballed by Rian Johnson. I will say the reason why he's blackballed now is because of a film he was in, which was directed by Rian Johnson. So I'll just say that. But yeah, I wanted so badly the sequel prequels or the sequel trilogy to be so good because it would just basically be a retelling of the original trilogy. They fumbled it so fucking much with all this stuff that makes no freaking sense to the actual storyline. But yeah, my biggest thing is that Dave's gonna be given the green light to do everything, and John's gonna be like, "Yeah, cool. Does it make sense to the story? Do we have proper timelines? Is all this stuff happen? Cool. All right, Taika, go do something. Bryce, go do something. All the other amazing directors, go do something. Right? Oh, you want to flesh out more of the Mandalorians because we don't really have a lot of Mandalorian stories other than the Mandalorian, right? Outside of him, cool. Go do it.
Go find another Mandalorian to talk about.
You want to talk about the gray Jedis, the grays, the Jedis that can both harness the light and the dark? Go do it. Oh, you want to talk about samurais? Go do it.
I'm saying we need to talk about the old Republic.
The old Republic.
The old Republic.
You want to talk about all that? Dude, don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. And there's no disrespect to Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy is by far one of the greatest, will go down as one of the greatest producers of all time in Hollywood. She learned from two of the greats, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. Yeah. She worked with evolving the next generation of creators through Lucasfilm as George Lucas's right-hand person through the latter years, bringing guys like Joe Johnston to the forefront, of course, who did the Rocketeer. He did Jurassic Park 3. Don't hold that against him. He did brain fart here. Captain America: First Avenger, which I really liked.
Yeah.
He's a great creator, and like I said, Kathleen really did a great job at bringing a lot of those young talent to the forefront. But I think, unfortunately, her time has come and gone. And I think Jon Favreau would be a great head of Lucasfilm, and even have her. Maybe don't even fire her. Just like maybe demote her or have her.
No, she's not gonna take that.
Yeah,
on now.
but we'll see what happens. But I definitely see that Iger is going to be forced to make changes at Lucasfilm. I think Jon Favreau is the obvious change. Now, I'm right there with you. To me, it's a 1A or 1B, and I think that's the way it's going to reran. Is Favreau is going to run the day-to-day operations of the day-to-day operations of Lucasfilm, and that pretty much the person put in charge of the content at Lucasfilm is going to be Dave Filoni.
Yeah, it's Dave Filoni is gonna be the guy, right? That everyone's gonna run to and say, "Hey, does this make sense in this context of this story? Will it tie into the universe?" He's gonna look at it and say, yeah, but take out this part, this part, this part. Why? Oh, because this part will go into later the other story. Blah blah blah. Right? Great, do that. He's been doing that for so freaking long with Clone Wars. Like, it is an easy matchup, man. And people are gonna hate on Clone Wars because people didn't understand Clone Wars. But now I'm with the generation. We're in the generation now that grew up with Clone Wars and will understand if you give Filoni and you give John the keys to the freaking kingdom to do whatever the hell they want, and they're gonna bring in some solid directors like they have been doing Mandalorian the past 2 seasons, right? As well as the amazing director that did Book of Boba Fett, like, as well as possibly the other directors that did I think she's doing it too. The director, the awesome director that did Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Forgot her name too.
I can't.
But if they bring her in to do some type of to do some whatever type of crossover work, from MCU into Star Wars, great. Let them play. And you still have Patty Jenkins on the books too to do whatever the hell she wants to, right? Patty Jenkins, of course, is the Wonder Woman director.
And they had her on board to do Rogue Squadron, which has now been put on permanent hiatus.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's fine. If she ever wants to do it, she can go do it. But yeah, just constantly like, hey, pick and choose. Hopefully we can bring back. Hopefully maybe we can bring out Cara Dune, right, and just like fix that shit, right? She has a dumbass opinion, or her opinion isn't well lauded in certain circles, but I still fucking love her as Cara Dune. Come on, just bring her back. She's great. As well as all the other things and projects going on, like Ahsoka, awesome, going through, possibly New Rebels, possibly more animated series, great. A conjunction of bringing other Japanese animated series coming in, awesome. A lot of green lights. Just do that. Just do a lot of green lights. Enough of this fucking other bogus shit, dude. Like, y'all fucked up my boy Obi-Wan too damn much. Too much posturing with people that don't know the damn freaking like lore, that don't know the source material. That pissed me off. Come on now. So just have these people be vetted towards the 2 guys that have basically been trying to right the ship for the last 4 years. So just make it run through them. That's it. We've seen too many damn times where you try to fit in new, quote unquote newer voice into these spaces, right? They have no clue what the hell they're doing, and then you're just gonna turn off the original fans of the story. This has nothing to do with my shit, so I don't want it, dude. So all because you look the part and you wear a Jedi and you wear a freaking lightsaber don't mean you're a Jedi, bro.
Hey, I'm a Jedi.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like just having that onto your bigger point of who's going to be running Disney. I don't freaking know, bro. I really don't know. I mean, people are gonna say if you're gonna say some stuff like it's gonna be oh my gosh, shoot, you just said his name too for MCU.
Oh,
talking about Kevin? Feige. I don't think Kevin's gonna do it.
I think if there's anybody out there that could run the Walt Disney Corporation, would be Kevin Feige, but I don't think he wants the job.
I don't think he. I think he's
very happy with playing in the sandbox that is Marvel. He's basically running Marvel Entertainment now. Yeah. Everyone kind of answers to him. So, but I think right now the obvious choice would be that he runs Marvel or he runs the Walt Disney Corporation. I just don't. Bob Chapek was not the right pick. I called it coming from a mile away when they said, "Oh, he run the theme parks." Great, he's going to run this as a theme park company, and it's not.
Yeah. So I feel like I feel like something the same thing too. Where like one, I don't want Kevin Feige to leave Marvel because who's going to be taking
No,
his
I do not
place?
want him to either.
That's the biggest thing. It's like, cool, this guy's been doing great. Let's take him out of his freaking lane and put him into a different lane and have somebody else that doesn't know the thing to do the thing. Like, no, bro. I don't like that for me, right? Unless he wants to do it, that's a different thing. Unless the pay bump is super, super high for him.
Well,
Like
of course it is. You're running a multi-billion-dollar corporation as opposed to a multi-billion-dollar subsidiary.
I mean, but at the same time too, is like, okay, if one little thing goes off the rails, right? Something that you yourself have not
Yep.
don't have any type of like influence in or didn't know of or like don't have any knowledge of, that's on you now. It's like
Yep.
I like that would be like you and me, right? Comic book nerds, right? Trying to run a company
I can do it.
that's somewhat entertainment, right? And then one of the subsidiaries is a freaking like car shop, right? And then we see our numbers, our car shop's down because we have no freaking clue what to do. Like, bro, I don't know how to do cars, man. We got people to do it, but then I still need to understand at least the nuances of how to run it so I know what I'm looking at. Right? It's like, do I continually just put blind faith and trust in people, right? That know how to run the shop, but then are still giving me red numbers, numbers in the red.
Yeah,
I feel like that was the same thing with Bob Chapek, man. It's like they gave him way too much, or he gave way too much leniency on people to like just run stuff. I feel like that was one of the Bob Iger's biggest things, right? We're like, no, we need to run stuff. And the only good thing that came from that, one of the great things actually, sorry, is that he let Kevin Feige do whatever the hell he wanted because Kevin Feige knew his shit at least. But with Bob Chapek, he was the guy strictly just like you said, just strictly solely bent on wanting to put more money in like the theme parks when they were still closed for 2 years. It's like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing, my guy? And so, I don't know. I just feel like I felt like it would have been better in the next couple of years because he'd be out of the COVID era.
yeah.
But I'm not surprised that he got kicked. I'm not surprised he got kicked at all.
No, it is, but it isn't surprising to me. And like I said, I think that the choice for CEO is not going to be as obvious. I think there's a lot that can happen over the next couple of years that will kind of fall in his lap. I think that Iger is very within the power that the board of directors has given him. It's going to be very curious as to what he does over the course of the next 2 years. And I really think that the top priority for Bob Iger is to get the theme parks back in order. I think second priority is going to be outside of the obvious of finding himself a successor.
Yeah.
I think theme parks is his top priority. I think second priority is going to be content for Disney Plus, and that means getting all of his heads of houses in order, which will include Pixar, which will include Disney Animation, which will include Disney Pictures, which will include Marvel. Which let's not let Kevin Feige off the hook on this one. Kevin Feige's had a rough go of it when it comes to his streaming content.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think the last thing is he's going to get his house in order, and he's going to look at Lucasfilm and go like, "What have you done for me lately?" Yeah, you've produced 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. Well, 2.5 seasons of The Mandalorian if you count Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
You've got Ahsoka. You've done these great animated shorts. Tales of a Jedi was fantastic. You finished the final season of Clone Wars. You've added a great new series in the form of Bad Batch. You've concluded Rebels. I think Rebels was done upon arrival, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But you've added on to it by spinning off Rebels and going and creating 2 great seasons of Bad Batch.
Yeah.
You've, like I said, Mandalorian. You've got other great shows in the pipeline, but you've fumbled the television, the movie side. Kathleen, what have you done for me lately? So I think that it's going to be theme parks, streaming, and then is going to be looking deep into Lucasfilm and seeing where that's at. What are they doing? Because they have not put a project on the big screen in almost 3 years now.
Yep.
And then, of course, you'll have Indiana Jones coming out next summer. That'll be their first foray back into the theatrical. So yeah,
it's fun. I don't know, just going back into like the problems with Lucasfilms, man. It's just like I understand why they should harken back and go more so of the streaming route, right? The TV route, the small screen route.
Yeah.
But like that's not the reason. The only reason why the small screen route worked is because you were hands off of it.
Yeah.
That should tell you something. And so it's just if that happens, I'm not surprised, man. But like I don't think Kathleen Kennedy would stick around type of stuff, right? I think she would just like, all right, cool, I'm out and I'm gone type of stuff, because like to be one of the heads, right, and be kicked out because your side of the company isn't necessarily doing great, doing it correctly. And so yeah, I don't think she sticks around. I don't think they're gonna give her a smaller position or at all. I think she just bounces and leaves, either goes to another studio or just leaves in general, because like again, it's just man, the last couple of years, man, I had the last couple of years or the last 5 years for Lucasfilms, man, it's just been so weird, dude. So fucking weird, bro. It's in the sense of like, I understand people want to go about the Me Too movement again and like, strengthen women, all that stuff, man. But like for me, being a Filipino, for being an Asian guy, being an Asian man, like y'all ain't singing to me the praises of like all this stuff, because to me it still very much feels like a white person taking up the screen and having the same type of like having the same type of fucking I can solve all thing problem that all your white male counterparts had. It's like same freaking story to me. Same fucking story to me. It's the same thing. You're not saying anything. All you're doing now is just fucking doing this shit horrendously. What they should have done is that they really want to push this shit forward. Rey, instead of being white, she should have been orange. She should have been Tortuga. She should have been a fucking Tortuga. Fix that shit. That's what they should have done. Rey, instead of being a white fucking clone of Palpatine, should have been a goddamn Tortuga. Like that would have fixed so much. That would have fixed so freaking much if she was basically Ahsoka. That would have fixed so much for me, because now you got quite literally a different species on film. That would have been fine. That would have been better. But hey, I said the first time, Me Too movement ain't about all women. It's all about white women. Me Too movement is all about the white women. Y'all, like especially media, like y'all can fix as most you can. Y'all weren't talking about the black women that need help. Y'all talking about the white women. So,
well, with that, I think there's only one thing left to do, and that is Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours.
Another one.
That's what I'll be doing tomorrow.
Thanksgiving, huh? Another one of your. It's not bullshit.
Oh, stop!
I'm not gonna do. I'm not.
Let me see if I could do this. I could do this all day. Why is it not zooming in like I wanted to? Anyways, that is what I'm working on.
You gotta flick the thing. You gotta flick the thing. Flick, like pinch apart.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Pinch apart. Yeah, go into it. Pinch apart. There you go, my guy.
So that is what I'm working on. So if you're vegan, look away. That is a live look at the turkey for tomorrow, being brined in my backyard right now.
Interesting. With lemon,
it'll be on the Traeger smoker by about noontime tomorrow. And that is what I will be doing. Oh, by the way, I also figured out how to stream PlayStation onto the StreamYard. So maybe every once in a while, if you see me like this, and with my controller again,
I might actually play. Yeah, I'm actually stream eventually.
By the way, got a new one.
Oh, nice, dude! I actually
went on sale, $50. These are normally $70, almost $80 controllers.
Where?
Amazon. They are officially licensed. These are official PlayStation, Sony product.
I need to buy one because I need to buy another one, man. Like I need to buy the full black one. Those are sick.
The purple one's pretty sick. For those who know me, that's my favorite color. It's not technically purple. they call it midnight blue.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
But it's fucking purple.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here,
But-
actually, I'll show you. Let me see if I can do this. Okay.
What do you want to do?
Just real
I got
quick.
Blue Moon still.
What's up?
No, I was looking at my the beer that I have. I'm like, I got Blue Moon still. I got to drinking that soon.
All right, let me see if I can pull this off. Hold up.
What
And
are
I
you
know
doing? What are you doing?
what you got to do. I know you got to go. Where's my controller? My kids were messing with my setup.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait until I like refurnish my room again, dude, and clean it up and like have my table, have my my desk be pointing it at a wall. That'd be great, dude. So you won't see my mess like usual.
Well, we don't people right to my immediate left too. By the way, is not just my PlayStation 5, but my PlayStation 4 and my PlayStation 3.
Yeah,
and soon to come, hopefully this weekend, my PS2 and my my PS1. I'm going to go full setup here. So let me see if I can figure this out. I worked on this after we last recorded.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see this. Yes, you can log in. Shut up. Let's see if I can get this to work.
Homie, I'm going to turn mine on too, bro. Don't even get me excited. I'm playing, or if I haven't played, I've been playing Modern Warfare 2, but I've been playing the DMZ mode, which is fun as hell. I love that game mode.
All right, let's see if I can do this here. Share screen, window, remote play.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I figured this out the other day.
Oh, that's sick, bro. Nice.
So we got to do this.
Yeah, just gotta do live. I would do the full.
Yeah, that's what I got to do. Is got to figure out. Oh, here it is. Hit it full
yeah, that green. Do that. There you go. Boom. Perfect.
Now I got to find a way. I find my way back to Chrome there. Oh, and then is this really gonna be? Oh, I forgot. I gotta. Now I gotta find a way to connect it to my.
Your controller.
My controller. I gotta connect my controller to the computer. That is the downside. Is basically I'm gonna play the computer.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, but I like the second I knock on freaking wood, I get enough money to finally pay for my PC. I'm gonna give me the Elgato. I'm gonna set up right here, and I'm be able to do like all the not Streamlabs, but all of the was it oh my gosh, what's it called? Where it's the it's basically Streamlabs, basically where you can like just play on your PC and show your PC, but you're playing through your controller.
I have that Elgato. I have that as well.
Yeah. Just want that.
But like I said, the downside is I have to play it this way. I have to have the remote control hooked up to
yeah.
So anyways. So yeah, that I figured that out. I finally figured that out last week after we went off the air.
So cool. Yeah. Nice. So. Give me 1 second. 1 second.
Let's see here. JR's gone off there. This is where we're gonna wrap things up here in just a second, anyways. But yeah, guys, if you're watching, we figured out how to play the PlayStation there, and
nice. Play the PlayStation, do the things, man. Hey, bro. So, I don't know when you actually game, but we gotta like set up where like we gotta do like a night where like we play a video game or something like that.
Absolutely, and there's all kinds of new games. Oh, look at that freaking flexing over there. I'm over here flexing my PlayStation. He's over there like legit flexing.
Just flexing. Hey, I did 365 for. I could have went for 3, but for benching, I'm like, oh, cool, that's good PR.
Yeah, I maybe could do that squatting, but that's about it. He is, by the way, he is Jared Kamakungan at Jared, also not Jared Comics 42 on Instagram. I am at Voice of Reason 23, Kevin Pillow on all social media platforms except for Twitch. You can find me at True Voice of Reason 23 because I can't find my login to the Voice of Reason account. But yeah, hit me up. You can find us on all social media platforms. So you can go. including Twitch.
Yes, I was gonna say too. You brought up like who might be the new CEO. I had a dumb idiotic joke to harken back to our original Twitter post or to our Twitter analogy. Just throwing it out
Elon.
there.
Elon takes over Disney.
What kind of shit show would that be if Elon Musk took over Disney, dude? Oh my god, dude. He would do all that shit for the meme. I would want an Elon S type of person to try to do that. To go actually with the plans that originally should have been with, right? Like when Disney said like, hey, we're gonna be looking at stuff like the don't say gay rule in Florida, and when Florida said that they're gonna start taxing Disney World, you and I thought, or me personally, I thought like, all right, just flex then. We're gonna fucking just bring Disney World out of Florida then, motherfucker, and go to like somewhere else that's not gonna be underwater the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I was wanting if Elon was there, he would have done that. Totally, 100% would have done that. But I digress. Here you go.
Folks, thank you so much for supporting us every single year. We do have, like I said, coming up this weekend, we will do the shopping show, Black Friday show. You can download our podcast, by the way, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, the whole 9 yards. Appreciate everybody once again following us. Again, upcoming shows. Black Friday show this week. We've got the Star Wars show coming up, and then the Phase 4 of Marvel show coming up. So we'll have dates on our Facebook page. So, all right, guys, have a great one. We'll see you later. Enjoy. Happy Thanksgiving. See ya.
Peace.
In